All right, time now is 2:20 p.m. on November 11th. November 10th. So yeah, I slept from 4:30 to 2 p.m. Wow, that is the longest I've slept in a while. I tried to go to bed earlier. I don't know why I didn't. Um, it took me a while actually, cause I had to clean the green stool and the steps and everything again because yo. Um, and it also took me a while to shower because every time water hits my wound, it's hurting. It's hurting so much. I have to slam something on the wall in order to endure that pain. But yeah, yeah. It's a really good sleep. I did wake up at around 10, and sort of at around 10:30, and then I realized that's 6 hours. I need to sleep more, so I went back to sleep. And then I woke up at around 12 something, and then I woke up at around 1:30, and then I'm like, okay, maybe my dad's in the bathroom. I'll just wait a little bit, and then I fell asleep again. But anyways, I'm rejuvenated. I'm happy. I'm feeling nice. I'm feeling good. And today's plan is I'm going to visit the Palace Museum. Um, and then at night, perhaps a dinner with Miriam and Leia. Perhaps. Um, yeah. So I'm pretty excited for the Palace Museum. I really want to go. I hope my wound heals. I hope my stomach ache is fine. I actually feel a little uncomfortable earlier right now, but I'm like, just endure it. Just endure it. Don't stomach ache. Stomach ache, go away. Just go away. I'll have a stomach ache tonight. I'll choose when to have a stomach ache. I know I have to have a stomach ache today at some point, but let's just do it after I go home tonight. Don't do it now. Stay put. So I'm training my body, okay? I'm training. But yeah, I really today I also really should get back on track on the tons of things that I planned to do in the last few days but never did. Writing the version 2 of my objects in mirror script and then send it to Cliff, Ken, Benny, Elin. Elin just DM'd me asking me when we can jump on a phone call to touch base. She's really really passionate about this. And it's just so fucking crazy how in the world of LA I can just DM a few people and suddenly I have a very solid team. That's insane. That's wild. Okay? And then yeah, and along with typing version 2, I really need to reach out to a bunch of people. I need to reach out to Seklun, the guy who I worked with in my last short film. I need to reach out to Glenn. I want to reach out to Elaine, the woman who helped me find the actors for Cloud Busting so that I can find the old woman. I need to reach out to Allegro to double ask him about the Chinese boutique shops and the whatevers. And hopefully, we have everything together. Hopefully we have everything a team of sorts. But yeah, it's great that I'm resourceful now, so I can just call people, ask people stuff, and I'll just get things. I'm resourceful in LA. Here, I'm not resourceful at all. I've yet to find a person who is a producer or a person who's a DP or a person who's a PD in here who is around my age who's also really interested in filmmaking and for real, like not planning to quit film because everyone here is planning to quit film. Um, it's just also I need to right, a couple more things. I need to have follow-ups with everything else. I'm going to email the film workshop and just send the CEO a nice email saying, okay, I know it's late. I haven't done the sexual conduct report background check yet because apparently we need your reference letter. But I know it's like out of time already, but you know, I hope I can work with you guys someday in the future, and it's great to connect. Bye bye. And then another thing would be HKTA. I'm still waiting for HKTA to call me back and follow up with the whole Taiku case situation. So there's that. Speaking of tutoring, tomorrow's tutoring at Chaiwan is canceled. So hopefully they don't cancel on me again, because if they cancel on me tomorrow, I lost another $255, which can buy me like 3 meals in Hong Kong. 3 meals in Hong Kong, 2 meals in LA. Yeah. And then, yeah, outside meals, not cooking. Yeah, I believe that's it. I need to think of other follow-ups to do, but yeah, I got a lot to follow up. Yeah, USC, I don't know why they're not replying to my email. The advisor is not replying, so I'm going to send the exact same email to another advisor. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm also going to email the financial aid office to ask them if they can make my tuition cheaper. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. So yeah, I'm gonna film a review. I'm gonna go to Palace Museum, vlog there in English. I can't vlog in Chinese, in Cantonese for life, and that's fine. And tomorrow's tutoring canceled. It's sad, but tomorrow night I'll be visiting a film set. Hopefully I get to do something. Hopefully I get to meet. So my mom knows the actor, one of the actors. I'm not gonna say who. One of the actors in that feature film. By coincidence. Because my mom's friends with him, my mom told him that I actually visited the set, and he's like, "Whoa, what? Why didn't he approach me?" Like, oh my god. So tomorrow night when I see him, I kind of need to approach him. And the funny thing is, I don't even know if he will show up or not, but I kind of have to approach him, and I don't know how I should go about that, but we'll see. Yeah, and then on Sunday, I have something to do on Sunday. I kind of forgot already. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I read 2 chapters of manga yesterday on the train. 1 chapter when I was going, 1 chapter when I was coming back on MTR. But on the MTR, from Lok Ma Chau to Admiralty, I kept falling asleep. I was sitting down beside Dad, and I was listening to music, and I hate listening to music when I'm with people I know. It's awkward. But I was listening to music, and I was falling asleep at the same time. And the second ride, I have to stand up the whole time, and I was reading manga. It's crazy how 1 chapter takes me a few weeks earlier this year, and then nowadays I finished 2 chapters in 1 day, because Steel Ball Run is getting so entertaining. But yeah, hopefully my wound heals. I have a little thing here because my hand is dry, and hopefully my stomachache disappears. But that's it. Okay, let's go. Oh, my favorite. Where is it? This one. I think it's this one. Oh my god.
唔使客氣。
藥袋齊晒咯喎，所以咧
唔夠爆。自從另一年實施咗一筆過撥款，社署又將整個社福
但我覺得佢好有一啲之前冇，即係啲港產片之前啲劇情好誇張，呢個佢都算係真實正義迴廊。
Alright, time now is 1:39 a.m. in the morning on November 11th. Yeah, so let's quickly talk about today. I went to the Palace Museum. I woke up really late, felt rejuvenated. My leg hurts a little less, but still hurting a lot. But yeah, went to the Palace Museum, and oh my god. I originally, because the ticket says 3 p.m., and I was like, okay, can I still go in if it's after that time? So I went to the Palace Museum website and actually searched, and it says one of the rules, and it's kind of hidden. One of the rules says go try your best to arrive on time. If you arrive late, well, you can still enter depending on like how many people there are in the museum. So it's like, okay, so what does that really mean? It it doesn't really mean anything. But thankfully, I entered at around 5:40 p.m. 5:40. So right before leaving my apartment, Leia called me, not from Czech Republic, from here, and she said, "Oh, Enoch, I have a very bold idea." And I'm like, "Oh boy, what it is? What is it?" And she said, "Oh, let's watch in broad daylight tonight." And I'm like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? That's possible." It's a little sketchy because I'm going to go to Palace Museum and I don't really know how much time I will take in the museum, but it is totally possible because I'm dreading it. I'm like, okay, I want to watch in broad daylight with Zara, Miriam, and Leia, but then I also don't know, like, we'll have to figure out a time together, and it'll be again and again and again, and by then I want to watch movies as early as possible. So I'm like, sure. So Leia asked Miriam, Miriam's like, sure. And then at the end, Zara saw us, and Zara's like, oh, can I join? And I'm like, yeah. So we watched in broad daylight together. And that film in Cornhill, that film starts at 7:35. So I originally planned to arrive at Palace Museum way earlier, but I couldn't for some reason. So anyways, I arrived at 5:40 p.m. and it wasn't that difficult to find the museum, and it didn't take that long for me to go from the MTR station to the entrance of the museum. I was really sweaty, but I entered it, and here are my thoughts. I think it's pretty good. I think it's okay. It's way larger than I thought it is. Probably because I expected it to be very small, because they're only extracting a tiny portion of artifacts from the Beijing Palace Museum to Hong Kong, so I thought it's just going to be very tiny. It's just going to be 2 floors. But no, I was wrong. So there are 7 galleries that I could enter. Actually, only 6, because gallery number 4 is closed. So gallery 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And 1 and 2 are humongous. Both of these galleries are essentially, Beijing Palace, the Beijing Imperial Palace, the Forbidden City artifacts. And it's tons of paintings, calligraphy, a lot of vases, a lot of ceramics, a lot of clothes, a lot of pieces of furniture, clocks, bows, swords, arrows, a lot of all sorts of weird stuff, and it's actually a lot. And there are also a few interactive exhibitions, which was actually pretty interesting. But the first gallery took me like 20 minutes. I thought I can just speed run the entire museum and get out within an hour. Oh boy, was I wrong. I thought I'm gonna have 1.5 hours, and I'm just gonna get out and then arrive at Taiku right on time. But I was wrong. Gallery 1 took me 20 minutes. Gallery 2 took me 25 minutes. It's even larger, and it basically goes over the day-to-day life of of the Imperial Palace of the Emperor. So the first gallery is basically like, just artifacts in general from the Forbidden City. There's a replica of the portrait of Emperor Qianlong, and it looked really nice. And yeah, the second gallery is crazy because it goes through like the daily life of the emperor, waking up in his bedroom, the clock, and then all these rituals, these rooms, and there are signs showing the map of the Forbidden City and the exact locations of certain rooms, which is so helpful. The thing is, I did a lot of research on Southern Song Dynasty in the last few weeks, but I didn't do any research on the Palace Museum, nor am I that interested. So already right off the bat, I'm not that, excited about this. But then at the same time, seeing them give an imperial palace so much detailed treatment, it's like, man, I wish someone would do the same for the Southern Song Palace, So yeah, that's that. And then Gallery 3 is upstairs. It's ceramics, so not a lot to see, but still cool. Still a lot of ceramics. And levels 1 and 2 are mostly all Qing Dynasty, and 85% of them are from the Qianlong era. I don't know why. This museum could have just been called the Qianlong Emperor Museum. But Gallery 3 is all over the place. Starts off with Shang Dynasty, Han Dynasty. There's Song Dynasty being mentioned, which got me excited. Like, oh, that's my dynasty. It's so funny. Like, I'm like a big fan of Song Dynasty now. And then Gallery 4 is closed. Gallery 5 is a dialogue between modern craftsmanship and like old art, and it's more ceramics mostly, and more weird designs with china and glass and gemstones, and it's sort of like, it's basically neoclassicism in a nutshell. It's like artists going back to the past, like artists trying to recreate the past. Gallery 6 is about paintings, I believe. Oh, no. Gallery 6 is about Hong Kong. Yeah, Gallery 6 is about Hong Kong and this museum itself, and is about various collectors, like art collectors, donating money and artifacts to this museum. And these artifacts are special. And again, more paintings, more calligraphy. Finally, we have Gallery 7, which is commissioned by the Jockey Club, and it's this really weird reimagination of like a Chinese garden with weirdly shaped rocks and sounds and structures. It's also really interesting, but also really, it is the smallest gallery. B, it's like there are no artifacts in it. They're all modern and they're all like cheap plastic. So it's kind of weird, but and in the last few rooms, I basically speed run them. Like some of the artifacts, I didn't even look at them. But yeah, I just spent a lot of time on galleries 1 and 2. Like I really went on from piece to piece, really seriously looking at it, which is really cool. But overall, I think it's a pretty good museum. Honestly, it could benefit with more, stuff. It is already a really huge museum, but if it expands, it would be amazing. And I would love to see more than just Qing Dynasty stuff. I suspect 90% of the stuff in the Beijing Palace Museum is also going to be like Qing Dynasty. But if they have like a special room for Song Dynasty, a special room for Ming Dynasty, it would be really cool. If they have a special room for foods, it would be really cool. There's a really nice room, I think that's Gallery 6, where they almost teach you how these artifacts are made with wood and glass and stone. That's really cool. But anyways, left the place, left the museum, sped run to Taiku. And I really did speed run. It was going to take me 16 minutes to walk from the museum to the MTR station, but it took me 10. Walked really fast and arrived at Taiku at around 7:45. The movie starts at 7:35. I arrived 10 minutes later. And I arrived, and Miriam, Leia, Zara already went in. Zara left a ticket at the counter for me. And all I have to do is I'm going to go up to whoever it is, say my phone number, and they'll give me the ticket because it's mine. Also, there's no dinner, so I'm just gonna buy a hot dog and eat and drink a soda or something for dinner. That's just gonna be dinner in the movie. So I'm like, fine. So I actually ordered Fanta and a hot dog. Originally, I only wanted to buy a hot dog, but I thought, oh, what if I get hungry? So maybe I should order popcorn. But then I don't want to spend too much money, and maybe we'll eat something more after the screening of the film. So I got a hot dog and Fanta, and I've never done it. I've never ordered a hot dog in a cinema before. It's the first time. So I went into the cinema and watched the movie, and oh my god, the movie's not even begun yet. The commercials lasted for 15 minutes, which is very not as much as AMC. AMC in LA goes for 25 minutes, so I was right on time. So I was able to watch the whole thing, and Leia and Zara and Miriam was like, did you see Zane? And I'm like, what? And then I see a girl with brunette, like dyed hair walk, and she's wearing a suit. She walks up to us right before the movie begins and was like, well, are you gonna go to the open day? And Leia's like, oh yeah, maybe, I think, yeah. And then she awkwardly like walks away. Like, she constantly gives off the attitude of like, fuck my life. And then she just walks away. Holy shit, it is Zane. I haven't talked about her in a few years. But she was my classmate back in Form 2. Yeah. And she still exists in my same school. Subsequently in Forms 3, 4, 5, 6. But yeah. Last time I was her classmate, it was back in Form 2. It was back in 2016. So it's been 7 years. And a lot has happened since then. A lot has happened. She's like a cosplayer, but apparently that's her like side job. Her main job is just like a ticket person in cinema. So watch the movie. It's pretty good. I shed one tear, but wow, Leia cried. I think Miriam was fucking sobbing at the end of the movie. She was weak. I and Zara, we left. I really wanted to go pee. She was just stuck in her seat, and she was just crying, and Leia was comforting her. Wow. I went to the bathroom, came out, we left the theater, and as we walked out, I saw. Oh, also, I ordered a hot dog. They don't immediately give you one. They have to make one and everything. So in the middle of the movie, not in the middle, but like 10 minutes into the movie, Zane, and they asked Zane to do it as well, which is fucking hilarious. Zane randomly walked in the theater and gave me a hot dog in a plastic bag. And that's fucking hilarious. That's really embarrassing. And Zara, Mira, and Leia were just laughing. And I'm like, at first I felt idiotic, but you know what? Laugh all you want. People order hot dogs, I'm hungry, it makes sense. Also, maybe Zane's shift is going to be over. So maybe this is like the only interaction I'll ever have with Zane. So Zane randomly shows up and gives me a hot dog. You know what? That's funny. That's funny. I'm glad it happened. So when we left the theater, I turned around and I wanted to talk more to Zane, but the thing is, it's been 7 years since I've really talked to her. So I jokingly said to Zara, like, oh, you know, I bet she doesn't even remember who am I, you know. And Zara grabbed my backpack, or my diagonal bag, and was like, do you want to go and introduce yourself to her? And I'm like, ugh. And I don't want to act like a little squirmy, like, no, like, I'm not going to do that, I'm fine. So I turned back, and I just walked up to her and I just asked her, do you remember me? And she's like, yeah. I mean, you're in the same class. We were in the same class. Of course I remember you. And then like Leia or Zara was like, oh, what is his name? And then she's like, oh, it starts with an E. And I'm like, I told you. And like, she doesn't remember me. I think she lost weight. She looks like she's lost weight. I don't know. But yeah. And then we stayed at that spot for like 5 minutes because it continued with them walking, with Zane walking towards me, Miriam, Zara, and Leia, and just talking a little bit amongst ourselves. Like continue to talk about open day. Apparently Leia's going tomorrow with Andy from Potato Gang. That boy, that guy, that Chad. One of the Chads, a jock. In American terms, a jock. Woman pleaser. I mean, all of the people in that gang are woman pleaser. But yeah. And also with Hector, who is one of the few people I'm actually awkward around with. And then Zane randomly walked up to us and said, "Oh, I've been hearing things after, like, the audience members leave the theaters. They say the new Miss Marvel is terrible, and they say the new Digimon movie is terrible." And I'm like, "Yeah." And she asked, "Oh, do you think In Broad Daylight is it good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's okay." So yeah, pretty interesting, and it's really weird. It really puts me in retrospective mode, because throughout 2021 and the last 2 times I returned to Hong Kong, I've never run into people before. They just don't. It doesn't happen. I think I ran into Kingsley once in December of 2020, but that's it. I've never truly ran into people before, and I'm just convinced that people just don't exist. Natalie and Cedric and Miriam and Leia and Zara and Nick and Tom and Pink exist. That's it. Nobody else really exists, right? They're all fucking fake. They're all in my head. I know that's not true. I'm not insane, but I would like to think that is, because they don't exist anymore for real. But now I keep running into people. I ran into Bernice. I ran into Edward at Hong Kong University, and apparently a couple more people from B class. I ran into Zane. It's weird. Like, these people are suddenly existing again, and it's like the universe calling me. It's like they're only existing after I'm gone from Santa Monica. Like, after Santa Monica, the arc is over, these characters have to return again to sort of remind me of the past. Like, me coming back to Hong Kong is fated. It's almost like it's fated to happen. Why are you screaming? Why is my laptop screaming? Why the fuck are you screaming? It's fated to happen, you know. It's fated for me to come back. It's destiny. It's all planned. But yeah, it's really interesting. Me, Miriam, Zara, Leia went downstairs and went to a dessert restaurant and had Taiwanese dessert. I had a $47 sweet potato, mashed sweet potato with tapioca pearls, other chewy taro balls, a pudding, some red bean mash. It tastes great. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Again, that's all under the pretense of, or the context of, I probably have stomach flu. But the magical thing is, I don't have stomach flu. I don't feel stomach now. Maybe it will happen again tonight, but I'm fine right now. I'm fine. But yeah, you know, it's time for talking. We talked a little bit about the movie. All 3 of them think it's great. Or are pleased with it at least. I think it's good, but not the best. And I explain my reasons, you know. And it's, you know, I'm being a film snob again. I'm being a real film connoisseur. Oh, I'm so 2000 IQ. So pretentious. Oh my god. And I said, oh, you know, I just wish that it's not as, you know, I just wish it's not as on the nose. Like, it tries too hard to make you feel something. And then Zara's defending it like, oh no, but that's like the Hong Kong style. That's it. And I'm like, yeah, but I wish it's more realistic, and I wish it wouldn't use, you know, sad music and stuff. And then Zara's like, oh, so do you wish it's like Parasite? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't compare with Parasite. That's like a very weird comparison. And then a little bit later I said, oh, I wish the courtroom drama is longer. And then they're like, oh, but it reflects reality. And, it means that the courtroom drama, like the legal aspect of it, doesn't really matter. But I'm like, that's not the issue here. The issue is the pacing of it. I want the ending to be longer so that it hit harder. But then it's like, oh, but what if in real life the legal case really ended really short? And I'm like, ugh. And I don't know why, but anyways, it's okay. And then I explained my movie ideas. With these three, I tend to not have a filter anymore because there's no point in having a filter. So I just go off. I talk about how, oh, it's weird that I'm running into people. It's like the universe is calling me, or like the universe is trying to say something to me. And they're just laughing. They're like, oh, this guy's insane. And then they're laughing at like conspiracies idea. Like Zara keeps laughing at it, like, oh, conspiracies. It's so funny. Like, is that a comedy? Like, first of all, I don't want to call it conspiracies anymore because it's very on the nose. But yes, it's a TV show about teen drama. It's about school drama. And yes, a lot of people are probably going to think that it's very childish, very stupid. We're just kids, and it's about drama, and it's not about real life society problems like homelessness and like war and stuff, which are very much real issues. But anything other than that is just silly and childish, I guess. And they start laughing at me, and Zara's even like, oh, then I guess is it a comedy? Like is that supposed to be a comedy? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess the idea itself is funny, but it's also serious. And I started explaining it, and I got more and more passionate about what I'm saying, and I told them, oh, do you know what the ending is gonna be? Nothing's happening. Nothing's gonna happen at the end. We got COVID. That's it. That's my secret, is that it doesn't end. And I told them how it's originally very subjective. Like, we're in the main character's point of view, and then it adds characters, and then it goes back to only the main character's point of view. And I talk about, characters, Natalie's character, Cedric's the character, and Eris the character. And they just don't really know what I'm saying, and they probably think I'm crazy. And then they just left. I was gonna talk a lot more. If they give me hours, I can go off on how lately I've been feeling like, my thoughts on relationships and love right now is that if I train myself to not need relationships or love, then I can be happy. And not the other way around. The other way around is I'm not happy, therefore I need relationships and love. But what if you just flip it around and say, if I train myself to not need it, then I can be happy even without it. But I feel like if I say that, they'll probably think I'm straight up insane. Just something about today's conversation with them really made me feel like I'm back in secondary school, but also not. It made me feel like I'm back because in LA, everyone's so nice. I can tell people about, my personal thoughts and feelings. In LA, people would actually be like, oh, no. Like, we're supportive of you. You're doing fine. Especially people like Michelle or even Retablo. People like Tova. I don't get personal with Cliff. That's hilarious. I don't get personal with men, I realize. That's actually kind of fun. Potter. I get personal with Potter. But even Potter, who's not an American, Potter's very understanding. But in here, it's like people just laugh at me. But then it's okay, because I like that people laugh at me. Because back in the secondary school times, people don't laugh at me. They straight up don't think I exist. And being laughed at is good, because it validates my existence. But I don't know, there's just something about today. I texted Natalie, so Leia's like, oh, why don't you text Natalie? Maybe Natalie's going to open day as well. And I'm like, yeah, but she's probably not gonna go. And I'm very pessimistic about it, which is right. And hearing Zara talk about how, she and Natalie, every time they meet up, they talk about MBTI, personality stuff, and it's just like, man, I barely speak to Natalie. Natalie probably cares about me 0% right now. She probably doesn't even think about me at all. And it should work likewise. I think if she doesn't care about me, then why should I care about her? You know? I wish I could just erase her from my brain and, like, you know, be happy with someone else and hang out with someone else. Why should I, like, come on. Like, Natalie played such an important role back in my early teen years, and I wish we're still close friends, but the truth is we're not. And maybe it's me, maybe I'm just not active and cool and charming enough, or maybe it's her for being mad that I've disappeared without a word when I went to the USA. I mean, I left with a word, but round 3, I'm gone. Or maybe it's just how it is naturally, and she just stopped caring about me, and I should also stop caring about her. You know what? Let's be cold-blooded. Let's be cold-blooded with each other. Let's not care about each other. Let's not talk about each other. Let's not talk to each other. And let's just be mean. Because why not? Because fuck you. I don't know. And so, I don't know if Natalie's interested in going back. I don't know if Cedric's interested in going back. Probably not. Cedric doesn't care about anything anymore. I don't know. I don't know if, I don't know. And then Leia's like, oh, maybe Mary's gonna show up. And I'm like, yeah, she's probably not gonna go. I don't know why I'm so sure, but I'm really sure. Like, people who I want to see will not go. Reality will always be disappointing. And I'm always prepared to be disappointed by everything in life. I don't know why. Like, I don't get excited about things anymore. I'm just always prepared to be disappointed. That's the kind of person I am. Because I've gone through so much shit, and yet people still don't know. Like, when I tell Zara that, oh yeah, I had a terrible experience back in secondary school, it's like alien words. It's like, no way. But it's true. But people still don't realize that. I feel like if I truly 100% spill my guts and tell people exactly how I feel about my secondary school life, maybe people would just be like, wow, you're fucking insane. That's not true. You're in a parallel universe. But it is true. But it's true. I cried again and again, every single week. You know, people ignored me, abandoned me. I had to start a YouTube channel to fix my loneliness. I had to create fake people. I had a fake girlfriend for a little while. It's like a drawing of a girl on a piece of paper. Out of loneliness. Like, I was just that much in the slumps, but people don't know it. Yeah. I don't know. So I texted Natalie. And I don't know why I'm scared of texting Natalie, because I feel like Natalie will just say, okay, and just ignore me for maybe 10 more years. I'd also like to think that I care about my version of Natalie than the real Natalie. And I want her to know that. I want her to know that I don't care about her. That I care more about a fake fictionalized version of her than the actual her. And not only am I writing her in my stories, but I'm also drawing her. And no, not the real her. Not her now with long hair and larger body mass. No. The old her. And I'm stuck with a fake image because it's better than reality. Because I'm just like that. I just don't care about reality, and I let go of people so easily. It's so easy for me to let go of people. It's crazy. I want people to know that. I want people to see me as this person who just doesn't care about people. Because people don't care about me. Likewise, you know? Likewise. If people don't care about me, then why should I care about people? I am fine. I'm drawing Mary. I'm drawing Leslie. I drew her. Whatever she's doing now doesn't matter. What she does in my mind matters, though. Because she isn't worthy enough to be real to me, okay? Or at least, so I hope. I don't know. I texted Natalie. I said I ran into Zane. And she's like, and? Oh, of course, again with the one word answers. Oh, do you know who else that reminds me of? Leslie. Why? Imagine asking me why. Oh yeah, I ran into Zane. Why? I don't know, I ran into Zane. You can't fucking answer that, can you? So she's like, and I'm like, oh, well, you know, I and Zara, Miriam, and Leia went to watch a movie and I saw Zane. And then I said, oh, by the way, she mentioned that there's open day tomorrow. Are you going? And she's like, yeah, maybe I'll go a bit to see Kingsley and Olivia. I haven't seen Kingsley since I randomly ran into him in December of 2020. I think I saw him in December of 21. I forgot. Haven't seen Olivia since winter this year, which is not that long ago. It's only been 11 fucking months. 11 months, not long. Shorty. Small. Small. Tiny. 10 years is small. 100 years is small. A century is small. Everything's small. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go, but I don't know. I don't want to go alone because then I'll look like an idiot. And she doesn't respond to that. She just reads that. She's like, none of my problem. None of my problem. And I'm like, okay. So I texted Nick. You know me. I'm political. Unlike back then, where it's like, oh, you know how back then goes. In 2018, if Natalie doesn't tell me that there's a dinner, then there's no dinner. Then I'll be soaking at home on my bedroom watching people's Instagram stories. That's my dinner. Instagram stories. People be having fun out there, singing karaoke, having hot pot. I'm at my home crying. I love crying. But now I have backups because I'm always prepared to be betrayed. I'm just like, betrayal is so it's so common to me that I have trust issues for everyone. That's awesome. So I texted Nick and I told him there's an open day tomorrow. And Nick responds. Nick's like, oh, I can't go tomorrow, but I can go on Sunday. The thing is, I want to go tomorrow because Leia's going and Natalie's going and I kind of want to see them. Especially Natalie. But also, like, Leia told me a lot of people are going. I don't know where that info comes from, but sure, I want to run into people, get a good scare, get a good heart attack, trigger my PTSD. Woohoo! Tasty, delicious. But Nick said, oh, I can only do a Sunday, and I'm like, fine. And Nick's like, oh, well, you can go on both days, and I'm like, yeah. So I honestly don't know. Maybe I'll go with Leia. Maybe I'll try to see Leia. Maybe I'll just randomly show up tomorrow, all by myself. Like I did in early December. Like, before the fake graduation ceremony in early December, I actually just went there alone and bought a lemon tea and that's it. And just, like, cried. Because I'm just baller like that. I should just go alone. Yeah, I should have not shaved. I should have left my mustache so that people can see that I'm changed. I should wear a hat. I should have worn piercings. I should have done every possible way to make myself look different so that people wouldn't recognize me. And they would be like, oh my god, Enoch. Is that you? And I'm going to look like a veteran. I'm going to look like I just came from the fucking battlefield in the trenches with scars and bruises, facial hair, and I'm going to be like, yeah, and I'm going to smile, and they're going to be confused, and they're going to realize that I'm changed. I want people to not recognize me. I want people to see that I'm changed. And I feel like as time goes by, I would want people from Santa Monica to see that in me as well. Maybe in the future, I would want people in USC to see that in me as well. I don't like people recognizing me. I want to constantly change my personality. Not just how I look, but my personality, my speech pattern, the way I walk, the way I talk. I don't want people to know me. I want people to be scared. I want people to be like, oh my god, next time I see Enoch, he's going to be, who is he going to be, Because that's how I cope with reality, is that I change. I'm like a chameleon. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'll go tomorrow. I think I will. Whoever, even if I go with Natalie and it's all Kingsley and Olivia, so what? Natalie's just gonna stick with Kingsley and Olivia, the cooler people. Kingsley with the small penis, but the very handsome face. Olivia is a anime girl. Me. You know. I don't know, maybe I'll show up for an hour and then disappear. That would be nice. And if I run into people, great. If I don't, who cares? You know, who cares? I'm just there for a random surprise. You know what? Going there unannounced is even better. It's like, oh, is he gonna show up? You know, oh, who the fuck are you? Whoa, you a terrorist or something? No, it's just, you know, oh shit. I feel like that's the way to go, actually. You know what? Alone. In my feels. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go alone. I can go alone. I can go anywhere alone. I went to LMU alone. For the stupid film. For the stupid Isaac film. If I can go to LMU alone, I can go to the school alone. But the school is the school. Like, it triggers my PTSD, but yeah. Going with Nick is great too. We're a great comedic duo. What can I say? Yeah. I don't know. I spoke to the rifle people. I think it's a girl. And I said, oh, just to follow up, I haven't been contacted by anyone. And she's like, okay, I'll ask someone. If still no response, then so be it. I don't care anymore. I'm excited for seeing the movie set again tomorrow, even though nothing's probably going to happen. Emailed the film workshop guy. No response yet. That's it. I don't know. It's just lots of thoughts, I guess. Lots of thoughts. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I really shouldn't care what the old world people think of me. Really shouldn't care. But I also do, because I feel like, especially people like Natalie becomes the face of my traumas. Because Natalie's always cooler than me. And it's not a competition, but it's more of an admiration. Like, Natalie and I started off in similar places, I feel like. Or not, no, but I and Cedric started at very similar places. But Natalie's the girl who constantly hurt my ego, and I've always wanted to impress her. I always wanted to go back to Hong Kong. And oh yeah, by the way, last January I lost my virginity. Last February I killed someone. Last March I started a cult, you know, and I earned $1 billion. And you know, how about you? I've always wanted to do something like that, you know. But I don't know why. I feel like if I stop talking to her, she would just forget about me. Yet people like Miriam and Zara won't. Like, we're actually friends now, which is weird. I never even planned for Miriam to become my friend. We didn't even start until 2021 February, which is like after the fact. So it's like weird. You know. But the truth is, even for people like Zara and Miriam, if I tell them, you know, my troubles, it's not gonna really matter all that much, is it? Yeah. I forgot to report that after I came back home, I was, you know, I'm headstrong, I'm stubborn, And since for dinner I've only had a hot dog and like fucking dessert, I'm like, I gotta eat some vegetables at least. So I went to the fridge and I found old soup, old vegetables, and old rice, and I heat them up and I ate it. So. Alright, time now is 2:04 p.m. afternoon. Just woke up, slept from 5 a.m. till 1:30. Yeah, so not a lot to say, really, not a lot to say. Originally today I had tutoring, and then I'm gonna visit the film set tonight, but yesterday the Chaiwan tutoring told me that the client is taking a break today, so I won't be tutoring anyone. And then earlier this morning, the producer texted me, sent me a voice message saying that, the schedule has been a little messy, so it's better if I don't come tonight. So this means I have nothing to do again the whole day. Yeah. So I have nowhere to go, I have nothing to do, and that's basically the gist of it. Yeah. I've given some more thought about last night, and I don't know, I realized that me going to the USA is basically me running away from all this. Because I feel like Hong Kong already sort of, especially when it comes to going back to the school and people like Natalie, it just represents all my pains and traumas, and I just really need to get away from it all and just start over. And now it's coming back to haunt me. And I thought I've let this go, but I haven't really let this go yet, you know. So I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I don't want to go with Natalie, because again, like I said last night, if I go with Natalie and Natalie's with Olivia and Kingsley, Natalie's just going to stick with Olivia and Kingsley. I'm like an outsider here. If I go with Leia, it's also going to be kind of sad. So I'd rather go with Nick, because Nick is the only person who would actually go with me, and I wouldn't feel like shit. So I think I'm just gonna go with Nick tomorrow, because I think I'm just gonna go with Nick tomorrow, to just meet people. Even if we don't run into anyone interesting, it's okay. Like, I think just going back to the school to look at the structures, look at the new kids, and just revisit the past a little bit, I think it's already good enough. Like, I don't need to run into anyone, because it doesn't really matter anymore. Yeah. And about Natalie, if she doesn't care about me anymore, then I guess that's it. I shouldn't really. Again, it should work both ways, and I should say that I should start doing that more, where if people treat me one way, then I should treat people the same. If someone disrespects me, then I should disrespect them too. If someone loves me, I should love them back. But nobody loves me, of course. If Leslie doesn't care about me, then why should I care about her? It should be reciprocal. So I think the same applies to Natalie. If Natalie doesn't care about me, then why should I care about her? I think I'll have one more meal with her, one more lunch or dinner with her, just the both of us. Cedric doesn't need to be there, and the reason being is I feel like if it's two people, it's not gonna, I won't talk as much. If I can have a dinner with her or a meal with her and just talk, and just tell her how I really feel, and how, she probably doesn't really care, but if I can say a bunch of shit in front of her face and leave a very strong impression, I think it's already good enough. And yeah. yeah, I don't know. And I feel like people don't realize, again, like I said last night, I feel like people don't really realize how much pain I've gone through because of the school. So yeah, you know what? It's actually better. It's actually even better that I'm going with Nick and I'm not going with anyone else. But the other thing is, because today I have nowhere to go, I kind of want to go somewhere. Maybe for an exercise, but my leg is fucking hurting. Maybe I will go to the school, but just not with Nick, but just like a self thing. Maybe I will do that. I don't know. I don't really know. Maybe I'll go to the school and then come back home to do exercises. Perhaps. I don't really know, but yeah. I completely forgot to write version 2 of my script, so I really have to do that. So, in any case, I think today's a great day just to rest, draw, write, watch TV shows. I watched one episode of anime again last night. I just can't. Like, Skiff and Loafer, I just can't watch the whole thing. I just have to watch it episode by episode. I don't know why. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. You know what? I expect my trip at Hong Kong to be very empty and boring and plain and nothing to happen. But, at least I tried. So, yeah. Alright, time now is 11:12 p.m. My computer's screaming. I love it when that happens. So, quick wrap up of today. Nothing happened. And I know I keep saying that, but today it's really, really true. Nothing happened. So, this morning I talked about how maybe I'll just randomly pull up to the school and maybe I'll just do some exercise. Well, I decided not to, because by the time I woke up and I had breakfast and lunch at the same time, it was already like 4 p.m. and I just realized I just want to stay at home the whole day, let myself heal, let myself relax, and just do nothing. And it's been a whole month since I've stayed home the whole day, and I really want to just do that, you know. And again, yeah, it's a shame that I couldn't go back to the school with people like Natalie or with people like Leia. But so what? If I meet Leia there, Leia's just gonna be with Andy and Hector. If I meet Natalie there, Natalie's just gonna be with Kingsley and Olivia. No matter who I go to the school with, I will feel like shit. Aside from Nick. And that's exactly why I should just go with Nick. It's fine. Again, if I'm gonna go back to this school with Nick tomorrow, it's confirmed. He's down, I'm down, we'll go. If we don't run into anyone, it's okay. Like, it doesn't really matter to us anymore. I just wanna walk around, quick look around, maybe see the principal, talk to him a little bit, and just cool hangout, perhaps. Yeah. I don't know why I did that. I still feel sad for the most part of today. Like, I still feel kind of empty and kind of lost and purposeless. Useless. Feelings of uselessness really boiling back to me. Mainly because I'm still mad that Natalie isn't impressed of me or anything. Like, I haven't truly impressed her. But that's a very narrow way of thinking, because there's so many other people that I would also like to impress other than her, and I really shouldn't care that much about her. Again, like I said last night, if she doesn't care that much about me, I shouldn't care that much about her either. What I want to say though is, next time I and Natalie have dinner, I can talk to her, I can tell her my feelings and all that stuff, and maybe she wouldn't care all that much, but maybe it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna treat her like my therapist. I'm gonna trauma dump her. I'm gonna make her feel really bad and traumatized, and I shouldn't give a shit about that. You know, I shouldn't really give a shit how she feels. Really shouldn't care, and I should just roll on with it. I think honestly that's the wisest decision I could make, is to really just dump everything on her and just fucking leave. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tell her, you know, my troubles. I'm gonna tell her about Leslie. I mean, I've mentioned it to her, but I've never gone into details. And I'm gonna tell her, and she may think I'm pathetic, maybe she won't, and it doesn't really matter. And I shouldn't. Me returning to Hong Kong, the original idea is I can finally take a rest. So, honestly, if I don't find tons of connections, if I don't make tons of money, and if I don't develop amazing friendships and relationships, so what? My life here is as good as a limbo. When I get to USC, I'm gonna do that shit. I'm gonna actually make money, branch out, go to the gym. Right here, it's a limbo. It's as good as a limbo, really. So it is what it is. And again, I can't say I haven't tried. I have tried. But if not, then it's whatever. If not, then it's whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's already. I would be lying if I said my situation hasn't improved. Like, the fact that I get to hang out with Miriam and Leia and Zara means that I have people to hang out with, which already means that I have upgraded from my past self, despite the fact that they're also people from my past. You know, the fact that I got 440 followers on Instagram means that I've upgraded, you know. I've seen better days. So, you know, no biggie. I still haven't written part 2 of my script. I'm gonna need to do that later. I still have a bunch of other shit. I'm still thinking of playing the Code 2 for Minecraft. I'm thinking of drawing. I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking of that. So I'm glad I didn't go out today. I don't need to go out because I just have a lot to do, I think. But yeah, if anything, my channel to express my pain and anger is through drawing, and poetry, and my own stories, filmmaking. It always boils down to I hurt myself or I hurt others. This is how school shooters came to be. But the great thing about being an artist is there's a third way, and it's to create art. And so I'm gonna do that. And it doesn't really matter if people like Natalie or Kingsley or, I don't know, Tyrus or Mary or Jordana or Keith or Jeffrey or Bernice or Cedric see this art or not. I hope they do. If they don't, it's okay. If they do, they'll understand. This is where I'm coming from. If they don't, at least someone else will see it. So, yeah, that's that. I'm still not feeling very happy, but you know what? I need to survive this. I really do.